not be fooled by our politeness. Our bows are made of rituals. Death is in our air.
Welcome into another edition of Box Office Quarterbacks. I am Jeff. That's my friend Gerald. Today we are talking about a show that has captivated critics, fans, a lot of people. Shogun just premiered on FX. It is one of the best made television shows you'll ever see. It is very, very beautiful to look at. The violence is very jarring as well. The character drama here is, though, what sells everything. You have a civil war brewing in 1600 feudal Japan. You have Lord Taranaga, played by Hiroki Sanada of uh, Mortal Kombat fame and a lot of other big budget blockbusters from the past, like The Last Samurai. You also have John Blackthorne, and those two stories converging to create an epic that is something you'll have to watch. Gerald, what were your initial reactions of Shogun?
I think television society, has been searching for that binge worthy, everybody talks about a TV show since Game of Thrones went to shit. Um, and this one has I'm not going to call it that just yet because it's only 2 episodes in, but I see the full potential of this show to have that, to be that next one. As you said, it's beautifully directed, it's beautifully written. 2 episodes in, it's got me hooked. It's got the same kind of Game of Thrones esque feel with a lot of behind the scenes politics, politic backstabbing being just as crazy as the real backstabbing and the real fighting and the real killing. Um, just I think there's some barriers that some people are going to have to get past. For example, the fact that half the show is in Japanese, so you're going to have to read a lot of subtitles because Game of Thrones didn't really have that, so it really made it accessible to everybody. I myself think it makes the show that much richer in how it's made and everything. Than if it was just all in English. But I know that is a barrier for some viewers. However, I would say that if that is a barrier that you're just a little bit worried about, throw it away because this show is fantastic with the Japanese and with the Portuguese that's also spoken throughout it.
Yeah, it makes it very historically accurate, and I do love that. It reminds me a lot of like Narcos, because Narcos, that entire show is in Spanish, and then you have this Japanese, Portuguese, English. It really does add to the ambiance of the series itself. Uh, it's well made across the board. The drama is great. I wasn't really a Game of Thrones guy, but this does remind me of another HBO show, and that would be Succession. But Succession set in the 1600s in Japan, where you have this thrown up for grabs, an heir who's not old enough to grab it yet. You have a lot of people feuding for power over that position. So it definitely reminded me of what went down with the Roy children in that show. But I
Also
mean,
compared to like the show, like what is it, Vikings? I think
okay.
if you're a gamer like me and you like the game Ghost of Tsushima, like you need to get into this game immediately. Not this game, this show. But keep going. Sorry, I didn't mean
And yeah,
to.
Blue Eye Samurai is another
Last
one.
Samurai is another one. Yes, that's a great one.
Yeah. So, I mean, like where to start here? We've got 2 episodes as we're recording this. You have John Blackthorne washing up on the shores of Japan, and we kind of start our story there. You have Hiroki Sanada's character kind of holding the fort while everyone's trying to oust him from his position and power. So many things working behind the scenes here. So many great actors and actresses. Like one of the scenes that really did stand out to me was at the end of episode 2, was the assassination attempt. Holy crap, that was so tense and so well done. I loved everything about that scene in particular.
Yeah, and no spoilers as to what happens throughout it, at least for those who haven't seen it. But the way that ends, and this show, again, like I said, it's got those things that some of the best shows have: the Breaking Bad's, the Game of Thrones, the Successions. It has the thing where the cliffhangers are actually good and they're insane. The end of episode one, where they pull up on Osaka for the first time, and John's like, it's just like, what do these little island folk have? Like, it's just island. It's not that big of a deal. They can't have a nice. And then he pulls up and you see all of Osaka. What kind of man can rule over this? And immediate fear. Um, I think actually that and the end of the second one, they're two different episodes. That I'm trying to think of the way to say it, Jeff. I think the best way I've been trying to put it into words is really first one is going to be just introducing you just kind of to the world, like the surface level of it, right? It
Yeah.
looks like from the outskirts just an island comes in, but then you get into it and it's really these people don't realize what had happened on the other side of the world because the other side of the world didn't involve them whenever they split up their land, and it really opens up just like this entire world. It's just there's so much potential, and I'm excited, man. And the cinematography, the directing, the writing, the characters, um, the actors and actresses. Some of them known, some of them unknown completely. And it's really well put together. Just two episodes in.
Yeah, it looks better than 80%, 85% of Hollywood movies that are coming out now. It's based on a book. I didn't know that they tried to do a NBC miniseries based on this as well. And there's a video game out there, which is something I didn't know either. So this is a story, I guess, that's been told in Hollywood before, but I guarantee without seeing any of those things that this is probably going to be the best adaptation of that. Um, it for history buffs, I think you're going to love it. For even people who aren't history buffs like me, like if you follow this show in the past, I am not really big on historical dramas at all. So, and this has my attention. So much so that if we're going to go into our early box office QB's grades for this, I would probably give it an all-star right off the bat, and that's 2 episodes in, because you can't give it a Hall of Fame right away. Gerald, what would you give this?
If there was one actor that was changed, I would give it a Hall of Fame right away
Who
because
is that?
I was upset when I found out there was only 2 episodes available. I I was upset, especially after finishing the second one. I was like, we have to wait until March 4th for even more of these. I was not happy about it, and that to me, like I was, and like this one thing about this, it's Cosmo Jarvis, it's John, John, and for some reason, I just can't take him seriously as this supposed pirate wrangler who's supposed to take down the Spaniards. I don't know. I can't take him seriously. I'm not. I don't really think he's actually a threat as somebody who could like kill and take down the Spaniards.
I don't know. I like his character a lot so far. Like if any character has grown, obviously it's him because he's been put through the most stuff 2 episodes in. Especially like when his crew got captured, that whole thing was heartbreaking.
Having to hear his man boiled alive.
That was horrible. That was one of the craziest deaths you'll ever see on TV.
Yeah,
But yeah, I mean, we'll grow with these characters. You know, you can tell there's like a romance going on here
yeah.
too. With
It's just I think what it is like everybody talks about what kind of man he is. You know, like he's a horrible man. He goes and kills and pillages and sacks and plunges and does this and that. And yeah, as a Spaniard, it's totally gaslighting the Japanese. That's what that is. Um, but there has to be at least a little bit of truth to it because he has gone through and sacked a few Spaniard hideouts, and so like he's definitely done a few things with killing. But at the same time, like he seems to be the first person to cower and to freak the fuck out and to like want to cry. And every time that happens, I'm just like, is he really this man, this captain who was leading people? I don't know.
he did jump in and like save the Japanese ship when it was going underwater, though. So he did do that.
And he did
I
try
don't
to
know
benefit with the assassination attempt.
as far as like hand to hand combat, whatever. We haven't seen that yet. I'm sure, and
I
this
am.
is it. Like the Last Samurai that people have compared this to, where a Westerner comes to Japan and is trained to become a samurai. Is that going to happen here?
I
Maybe.
I hope not, but I do hope we
Yeah,
get some badass samurai moments. Just seeing the gear in the house. Oh my gosh, man! I
yeah,
hope we get some badass samurai fights in
yeah. I
there.
think we have to, like for sure.
Sure.
Yeah. So initial score, Gerald. What would you give this?
Initial score, I'm giving it a high all star, man. Like this is borderline Hall of Fame right off the bat. Some of the best intro, some of the best, one of the best pilots ever, and best second episodes to really just start off a show. It's got me hooked. I want to see more. Even though, yeah, I'm a little bit like I don't know about John Blackthorne. I still think he's good, and I still like his character. I just don't know about the actor and just yet, but I'm open to it. So to me, high all star, almost Hall of Fame level.
Yeah, we'll definitely see. We'll definitely be watching this every week. Probably revisit it at the end of the season. One thing you can visit right now, though, is rival.com. You can go to our sponsor's website, joinrival.com/box office QBs, get $25 in free play, $10 on your first deposit, up to a $200 deposit match. You can play best ball for NBA right now, get into a best ball league. Baseball season just around the corner as well. Get some free money, win more money. That's the good thing about it. But this has been another edition of Box Office Quarterbacks. I am Jeff. That's Gerald. We'll be back next week. Until then, have a good one.
Winning money in this economy, yeah.
And
Go to the website now.
yes, please do.